So we just finished a pre-holiday prep session with our clients. And on that session, I shared some of my predictions going into Q4, how we're seeing things start to shift with the presidential election coming up, what that means for us, the short timeframes that we have to ship based on how Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and things like that are falling, which I will do an episode, by the way, on our Black Friday strategy. That's coming, and I'll talk more about that. But in this planning session, I did share one prediction that I have, and that is based on observation. And that is over the last 11 years or so, what I've observed is that the people that wait until November to begin prepping are the ones who will lose to everyone who preps in September and October. Shocking, right? Early bird gets the worm type stuff. So because we have I want to make this video or this podcast, because we have such a compressed timeline for the holidays this year. And I say that because we have the November 5th election for those of us in the United States, and what that means, I'll share in another episode. But because we have a shorter time frame to sell and deliver, because Black Friday, Cyber Monday is also falling all the way into November 29th to December 2nd, it means that you simply have to be more calculated with your approach, and you need to do some prep work. So when you arrive in that moment, you'll hit it, you'll just crack it out of the park. And so one of the ways that we do that, and we often help our clients, is saying, how do we maximize our average order value, particularly during the holidays, but then also outside of the holidays? Now, during the holidays, there are some things that you can do that I'm going to share in this episode that are holiday specific that won't apply outside of the holidays, but there are others that you'll just be able to take and you'll be able to run with outside of the holidays and going into Q1 and so forth. And so by figuring these things out right now, you're going to prime yourself for more profit from every customer that comes through your doors during the holidays and after the holidays. So I'm going to give you 7 quick ways that you can just increase your average order value. So these will be kind of like rapid fire-ish with a little bit of explanation and recommendation tied to it. And just for the sake of simplicity and helping you out, I'm also going to have our team include the links in the description of this to some of the tools that I'm going to mention. So just go check out the tools, see what makes sense for you, that have the capabilities to deliver on these AOV boosting things. All right, let's get going. So number 1 is to gamify your cart drawer. First of all, if you are not using a cart drawer that pops out on the screen for somebody, you're missing out on a lot more profit and a much higher average order value. We see this all the time. And we typically will see, just by having just to distinguish the two, there are 2 ways that typically people are going to check out. They're going to hit add to cart, and it sends them straight to a cart page, and then they have to hit go to checkout, and then it takes them to checkout. Way number 2 is they hit add to cart and it slides out on their mobile device or their computer from the side, or it takes up the screen and it says, you've added this to your cart, and they don't have to go to this cart page and they can just keep shopping. Now, the reason we see this increased AOV by having a cart drawer that pops out is because it really encourages people to keep shopping. When you force people to the actual cart and then moving them to the checkout without it being just a pop out, what we typically see is like people just end up buying one product. So number 1, make sure that you have a cart drawer that actually pops out. But what I'm talking about here is gamifying your cart drawer. So this means like showing the free shipping threshold at the top. Maybe you're adding a free gift with purchase, and you could show how much they have to add to their order in order to reach that threshold and receive that free gift. And it kind of fills the bar up as they reach each of those different levels. Gamify it. Make sure that you can even upsell in the cart. A tool that we love to use for this is Monster Cart. Monster Cart is amazing. You could click the link in the description. We're partnered with them. We love their stuff. We recommend it to, if anyone asks about a cart, we recommend Monster Cart because their carts are beautiful. It allows you to gamify it. And we see AOVs go up 30 to 35% just by having a cart pop out, your cart drawer pop out, as well as having some of those features within that. That's number 1. Number 2 is kind of unique. And this is lock in future lifetime value with a membership program. So during the holidays, we have this compressed time frame that we're acquiring a boatload of customers. And so the question going on in many of our minds is, how do we not only acquire them, but how do we get them to buy again? How do we acquire customers that end up purchasing again from us in the future and they're not just like a one-off buyer during the holidays? Well, there's a brand out there called REI. If you're not familiar, REI is this outdoorsy brand. It's kind of like Cabela's, which is another outdoorsy brand, or Bass Pro Shop. And REI does this, and it's brilliant. And one of our clients does it as well. And so REI, they offer this $30 lifetime membership. So you pay $30 for a lifetime membership to REI, which gets you like 10% back on eligible purchases, not everything. And by the way, most of the purchases that they're eligible on are their own branded stuff where they have sky high margin versus all the other stuff that they're reselling. And so what's cool about this concept of a membership program is you don't have to do a whole lot in order to run this. Essentially, people are there's some tools that will allow you to do this, but you can create profit that is just out of thin air by getting them to increase their AOV by simply just adding a membership. So imagine if every person that buys from you this holidays, you said, hey, for $20, you can get a lifetime membership that gets you 10% off on your future on eligible future purchases. You could have a Facebook group if you want. Now that adds a layer of complexity and work going forward, so maybe don't start with that. But by offering this, here's what's interesting about this. It creates loyalty, which you want, and because people pay for it, they're more likely to use it than if it was just a free loyalty program. Now we work with a lot of clients that have free loyalty programs, and that's great, but they're not bought in. They don't pay for it. And because people don't pay for it, they often forget about it. But if you paid for something, then you're more likely to use it in the future. So the 10% off, here's the thing. They locked in at 10% off. 10% off doesn't matter because $30 in profit right on the front end, by the way, is equivalent. Like let's say you had 70 or 25% cost of goods. So if your cost of goods were 25%, well, that would be equivalent to almost making a $120 sale. And so we have a client that does this, and her average order value is $40. But she sells a lifetime membership, and don't quote me on the price, she'll probably correct me on this. I believe it's $20 for a lifetime membership that gets you 10% off of your future orders. But the reason the 10% doesn't matter is because we want people to come back. When people come back and buy from us that doesn't include advertising spend, that is way more profitable acquisition on orders. And so if you're probably paying more than 10% to acquire customers anyway, most people are paying 20 to 25%, sometimes 30% to acquire customers. But imagine if it was only 10%. How much more would you spend on advertising if your cost to acquire a customer was only 10% of the AOV? And so what's cool about this is this client that we have, her AOV is $40 on order number one. Then she bumps this $20. And of the people that take it, and I forget the percentage take rate on it, it's pretty decent though. Of the people that take it, it bumps them to $60. Well, that $20 is pure profit, and it's digital, it's thin air, there's no cost in that other than credit card processing fees. But here's the interesting thing. What she found is that approximately 35 to 40% of members come back and buy an additional $30 in product over the next 60 days. So if the AOV is normally 40, but then over 60 days, we get people to come back and buy another $30 in stuff, that's pretty powerful. I mean, that almost doubles their 60-day lifetime value. And so if you think of how valuable that is, you get more profit on the front end, you create more loyalty on the back end, and you shorten the time frame in which you acquire more lifetime value or that second purchase. And this is really valuable, especially coming out of Q4 going into Q1. Imagine if at the end of Q4 you had 500 people that paid for this, and it's $20 a piece, and so you make $10,000 in basically profit, and you have 500 people that you can then send emails to that would be able to get these offers or that are going to potentially buy again in the future. And if they're all buying going into Q1, that's going to help bolster you during Q1. Remember, people use what they pay for. So that is number two, lock in future lifetime value with a membership program. A little bit unique. Third thing, offer shipping protection or extended warranties. Now, here's the interesting thing. Your likely already doing this, but you're not getting paid for it. And whenever I bring this up, I always like to ask, whenever I'm like coaching people or I'm like consulting somebody and they don't do this, I always say, well, let's talk about shipping protection. Usually you could use, there's a tool we like called route protection. There are a couple others that are really well known, but route is a really common one. And it's a little toggle in the cart and it's usually 99 cents or $2.99, or depending on what the product is, it might be a little bit more based on the price point and how big it is. So just think, if every customer that comes in, you make another $1 or $2 on, and it's primarily profit. There's not a whole lot within that. It's insurance, right? You're insuring against what would potentially happen. But the reason I say you're probably already doing this is because, let's say that, and I love to ask my clients this, I love to say like, okay, well, let's say you ship something out to a customer and it gets lost or destroyed in the process. And the customer comes back and says, hey, here's the photos. It literally showed up in this box and it's completely broken. What do? Do you say, ooh, sorry, you didn't purchase route protection. You'll have to buy another one. No, most people, you know what they do? They say, oh my goodness, yes, we're gonna ship you another one. And you'll just do it anyway. So why not profit from it as is? Same thing on extended warranties. Now, the thing I like about this, by the way, is that if you offer this and they don't take you up on it, then it gives you more probable reason to say you don't do it, that you can't do it because they didn't purchase the protection or the extended warranty. So let's look at warranties. You might sell a product, and not all products, by the way, need warranties, especially replenishable products. That wouldn't make sense. So warranties are going to apply on products that are more like a lot of gadgets, a lot of things that you might buy that they're going to use for years, or they're going to use for a period of time, that you could offer a warranty, in which a good rule of thumb is like 10 to 20% of the price of the warranty. But let's say somebody bought it and 1 month later they found something happened, or 2 weeks later something happened. Now, not all cases would you completely replace it, but I would venture to say that most people try to make it right. If something happened or it broke in the first month, most of the people that we work with will try to make it right. They'll try to give a store credit. They'll try to do something. But what if you offered this extended warranty that said, hey, for 10 to 15, you choose the pricing, 10 to 15% is pretty good for shorter warranties. So if you're like a year or less, then 10 to 15% of the purchase price is a good rule of thumb. And if you're like longer, like 3 years, 15 to 20% of the purchase price is a good rule of thumb. And so if you offered it, however, and somebody doesn't take you up on it, well, it gives you all the more reason to say, well, normally we would be able to replace this, but you didn't purchase the extended warranty. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to, but we could give you a little bit of credit for the store, which, by the way, is going to bring them potentially back and produce more revenue. So if you're not charging for it, you probably are already doing it. So why not just profit from it as is? So that's number 3, shipping protection or extended warranties. Number 4, how you can increase your AOV is offer gift wrapping, personalization, and or skip the line, which is just rush processing. And so we like to use this as more of like an order bump in the cart. These are usually like it depends on personalization. Sometimes you have to put on the actual product page, but ultimately this is like a great order bump where it's real cheap. It doesn't cost a whole lot. Some 3PLs, if you're running on a 3PL, they have like gift wrapping as an added service. You usually can't like rush process with them, but gift wrapping is an added service you can sometimes add. If you're doing this yourself though, you could determine, hey, what is this actually worth to you? Because really the only cost is labor and paper. And so if you're doing like gift wrapping, for example, you just have labor and you just have paper. And so depending on the size of the product, $5 is a pretty common amount to charge for like a standard size product. Now, if you have some big old product that you have to like wrap and it's going to take a ladder and 3 people, okay, maybe skip the wrapping paper in that scenario, or charge a lot of money for it. So gift wrapping, super simple, especially during the holidays. A lot of people just want it. I know for me, I want it. Amazon offers it as well. People kind of are starting to expect it, but they know it'll be like this additional cost. Now, personalization is also pretty easy. It depends on the product that you have. Some products you could personalize. Sometimes you can add like little cards. If you want to add a little card in there with the person's name on it that says for this person, from this person. That's a little personalization you could do. But the thing I really like is skip the line or like rush processing, because during the holidays, it is expected, shipping delays are expected, scarcity is expected, urgency is expected. And so with skip the line or rush processing, you could utilize the urgency of the holidays and the scarcity of your team's time to be able to ship everything out as quickly as possible. And you could just say, due to the busy holiday season, orders may not be shipped out as quickly as usual. And if you'd like to skip the line and have your order shipped out in the next 2 days, consider adding rush processing. $5, boom. Right? So some people, they just want rush processing, and if we can get it, great. On the back end as well, offer, this is like a 4B. So this is number 4, gift wrapping, personalization, skip the line. This is like, that's 4A, 4B, offer multiple shipping options, by the way. That is really important. If you don't have multiple, offer expedited and charge a little bit, so you might make some profit on that as well. But consider rush processing. Even if it's a few bucks, it's pure profit, because sometimes you're not going to be just blanket it, say it for everyone starting in October or starting in November, and then you may not run into like a crunch where it's taking forever to ship stuff, but you might make the profit on it because people are willing to say, hey, I just want to have like guaranteed that this is going to be out in the next 48 hours or whatever time frame that you allow. Just as a note, make this easy, check mark it, like make it a simple check mark in the cart. That's super easy to do. A monster cart will also help do stuff like that. That's number 4. Number 5, how we can increase AOV is clarify and adjust your free shipping thresholds. And I can't emphasize how important this is. Amazon has completely standardized free shipping. We have clients like that talk to us and and they'll join our membership and they'll question this idea every day. They'll say like, hey, I shouldn't offer free shipping. I don't have enough profit to give away. But the problem is, on the flip side, you end up losing people who make it all the way to the checkout and then they find out, oh, shipping is $9.72. And so you're going to have a high abandonment on that, which then makes your cost per acquisition on advertising much higher and oftentimes higher than simply the cost of shipping that you're passing on to them. So in this case, do 2 things. I want to talk about this. So 2 things. Number 1, have a free shipping threshold. And I'm going to give you some examples of how you can adjust this to increase AOV. Number 1, you should have it. And number 2, clarify it in your sticky banner and in your cart. We worked with a client that during, it was last year or the year before, I can't remember. They have a $150 free shipping threshold. And during the holidays, it was like November. So we're like, and this is prime time for these products that we're selling. Prime time. Like they make most of their money in November, December. And so they had a $150 free shipping threshold. And it was a Friday, and Friday sales just started looking kind of bad, like halfway through the day. Then we come back on Monday, Saturday, Sunday, completely tanked. It's like literally the website broke or something. And like the ads bombed. Nobody was buying anything. And I noticed an enormous amount of drop-offs. We had all the cost per clicks were good, the add to carts were good, and then initiate checkouts, and then the conversion. Everyone dropped off at the checkout. So put on my little Sherlock Holmes detective hat, went to work, and found out that on Friday afternoon, the web team decided to change the banner from in the cart from clarifying the free shipping threshold. And when I say that, I mean that I want to see free shipping over $150. And then in the cart, I want to see free shipping over $150, and then have a little bar that fills up and says, you are $12.22 away from free shipping. Now, the reason this is important is because people expect it. So if they get to the end and it wasn't clarified in the beginning, they enter all the information, they get to the end and they find out, oh, my shipping is like $27 or whatever. That product was a little bit more pricey to ship. They get really annoyed and they just back out. Whereas when they know the shipping threshold and they're only $12.22 away, they just go add something to throw it over it and complete the process. And so have it and clarify it. And this is a lever that can just lower your cost per acquisition overnight and increase your profitability. So first, you need to have it, but I think that most people listening to this probably are like, Josh, cover my base. I'm not charging for my shipping. I have a free shipping threshold. So to increase your AOV with free shipping, here's how we do it. We use the rule of 3 to start, and then we slowly bump it up until we find this perfect, delicate dance between cost per acquisition and profit. And so when I say the rule of three, what this means is they need to purchase 3 common items in order to get it. So we had a client that had a $99 free shipping threshold, and they sold t-shirts, and their t-shirts were $30 on average. Well, if I buy 3 t-shirts, that's $90. I need $9 more. Well, They only sell t-shirts, so I need to buy a fourth t-shirt. And then guess what? That throws them to $120. And most people do not buy $120 of t-shirts, in my experience, for the most part, from companies they've never purchased from, never felt the material, etc. And so I said, hey, let's move it from 99 down to 75. Because if they buy 2, it's 60, so they still don't reach it. If they buy 3, it's 90, but they feel like they're overshooting. People feel good about just going around. They don't want to be like, don't make it 89, and then they get to like 90, and then they use a 5% discount or something, and then it throws them below it, and then they have to pay for it. So we usually make sure they have to hit 3, but then we lower it a little bit, so that way it makes it feel more achievable, even though we know that they have to purchase 3. And so as soon as we did that, what happened was their ads, their cost per acquisition plummeted, and their ad results went up, their ROAS went up, and it was just a happy day. And so I want you to just think, everybody expects free shipping, but if it's too unattainable, they're gonna quit before they begin. Like if you were buying a watch, and this is not a crazy expensive watch, but like if you're buying a watch and it's like a $300 watch and they say, okay, great, yeah, but our free shipping threshold is $10,000. You're like, freaking 10,000, there's no way I'm gonna hit $10,000. And I've never bought from this company, so do I really wanna, now that's an extreme example, but most people, they expect it, but they're gonna quit if it's too high. And so what we do is we start with the rule of 3, and then we begin slowly increasing it until we notice a lot of friction, and then we pull it just right down to that sweet spot. Again, it's like a balance between profitability and cost per acquisition. So we always monitor both of those things. And our goal is to make the AOV high enough that just most people hit it. So you want your AOV to hover close to your free shipping threshold. And so if you want to know where you sit on this spectrum of like, maybe my free shipping threshold is too high or too low, here are just a couple quick signs. If you have a free shipping threshold that is way above your average order value or way below your average order value, then you need to adjust your free shipping threshold. So for example, if your AOV is $50, but the free shipping threshold is 75, what that means is most people are not willing to spend 75, and that's why they're all the way down here. And you might think, oh yeah, but then they pay for the shipping. But what if you lowered it to 60 or 65? You're gonna probably see that AOVs start to climb up because it's a lot more attainable. But on the flip, if you have a $50 AOV and your free shipping threshold is $30 or $25, everybody's hitting that. Increase your free shipping threshold, again, just over your AOV, because that's gonna encourage people to buy more, and that's gonna pull your AOV up. So that's kind of how we will start with the rule of 3, and then we will slowly add this friction to find that delicate balance of profitability and the lowest cost per acquisition that we can get. That's number 5. Number 6 is to offer a free gift with a certain average order value. Now, this is great during the holidays because people are just trying to get gifts in general. And so free shipping should be one of those thresholds that they hit. If you use like Monster Cart, it'll fill it out and show you there. But then have a higher threshold to get a free gift. So if your free shipping threshold is $75, make $100 your free gift. So they have to spend $25 more to get a free gift. And my advice, make the gift light, make it cheap, make it easy to ship, make it old inventory that's just sitting there, like incentivize people to spend more so you can finally get rid of the old crap that you have. And finally, number 7 is and I saved this for the end, by the way, because everything else I pretty much mentioned before this can utilize those in this format. And so this means have a small, medium, and large upsells, both pre-purchase and post-purchase. And so if you're unfamiliar with what those are, pre-purchase means before they get to the actual checkout, you can have a pop-up that when they're like in their cart and they hit go to checkout, you can have a pop-up come up and offer them, hey, one-time offer, you could get this product, or this product, or you can upgrade, or you can have, you can grab this bundle, and you can. In here, by the way, we can also add in there, do you want to add gift wrapping? Do you want to join our membership? We can add small, medium, and large before they check out. And then once they check out, you could bring them to a page where it then upsells them and give them a small, medium, and large priced option to hit yes, say yes or no with a single click. And so everything I mentioned before can be layered onto pre-purchase and post-purchase upsells. And when I say small, medium, large, it doesn't mean physical size, it means pricing. And so what we like to do is like if I had, I might take like a $9 product, a $29 or a $30 product, and go up on the high end and go like $75, $79 product. Like if you have a big range of products, consider offering small, medium, large, and you're gonna have generally like 10%, sometimes 15%, it depends. Over that is pretty hard to get unless it's like a crazy deal. You're gonna have 10, 15% of people hit yes on one of those items. Most people will, by the way, just psychologically, they go for the medium, they go for the middle there. But you're gonna have a couple of people that hit the low and hit the high. And those are easy ways to increase your average order value going into the holidays, but also well beyond the holidays. So we do have some tools, by the way, I'm gonna have in the description. We love Zipify, one-click upsell, that's a Shopify tool. We love Rebuy, which is a Shopify tool. We like Funnel Kit, which is a WooCommerce tool, and we love one-click upsell funnel, which is a WooCommerce tool as well. Cool. So these are ways that you can increase your AOV for the holidays. Some of them are holiday specific, but some of these you should just be doing these all year round and going into the new year. Don't stop them, just tweak them according to what season it is and maybe just tweak a couple of things that you're actually offering. But I do have a huge favor to ask you. If you're on Instagram, follow me at Josh Coffey, and that's Coffy. Go follow me and then DM me to let me know if you want us to do more seasonal based content like this. It's saying, hey, for the holidays, this is the kind of stuff that we're doing, and break down more of that. So if you're interested in seeing that during the holidays, go to Instagram at Josh Coffey, follow me, shoot me a DM, I'll follow you back. Let me know that you do want to hear that stuff. And my hope with this, as well as anything else that we might release, is that you go into the holidays confident and you make a lot more money. Then consider requesting an invite to work with us inside our Max Profits mentorship, which there's a link in the description here, where we kind of show you not only how to do each of these things I mentioned, like step-by-step, the tools, over the shoulder, etc., but we really teach you how to build a wildly profitable and leveraged e-commerce business that just gives you freedom of both time and money. So you run something that doesn't run you. And so if you're interested in that, check the link in the description. You'll be able to see, hey, what would it look like to have all of our systems installed in your business, as well as receive the mentorship and the coaching from myself and my team and the support along that way, and what that actually looks like. So thanks for listening to this episode, and I will see you in the next one.